What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching today, baby. Alright, guys, it's Suboxone update time. Woo-wee! It's my second time recording this video. My buddy just texted me and totally cut off the video, so we're gonna try this again. Gosh damn it. Alright, so first I want to thank all the new subscribers. We're getting close to 1,000 lovely people following my crazy up and down journey, so thank you guys for following. For 1,000 subscriber, I thought about when I hit that mark, about putting together like a better video rather than just me sitting here talking about where I'm at in my Suboxone dose, because that's about all this channel's mostly been about. So I actually I have a video that I recorded which I consider to be my rock bottom, and this video I had no idea why I was recording it. I didn't even know that I recorded it until like the next day, and in this video it was clear to see that I was really at a rough point in my life, you know, and I just looked like shit, and I thought that I was sober. Okay, and then after seeing the video, I had realized that I'd been going around my family like this. Okay, and I was just not me. I was mumbly and my eyes were all over the place. There's one point in this video where I actually stopped breathing for, I think it's like 30 or 35 seconds. And you can just tell I'm just like it's really hard to watch. And I'm very thankful that I, for whatever reason, recorded this video, and that was back in 2016, guys. So I was looking at some old videos, and it was about 4 or 5 weeks after I lost my little dog, my little Chihuahua Jersey. I had her for 15 years, and she was the closest being that I've ever had to me, you know, and watching her the way she died, it was just very, very challenging for me. So she was a huge loss in my life, you know. She was my whole life, really, pretty much. She's the person that stuck by my side for 15 years when a lot of other people came and went. So as you can imagine, with me not having any children, that was harder than losing my father when I lost him at 21. So but I can go into more of these details later on in the video, but I thought about making a little bit more of a intimate video, I guess, showing and talking about, maybe you guys can see a glimpse of my past, a very vulnerable video for me to put that out there, but I've been thinking about doing that, so I may do that, and just put something together a little bit better than me just sitting here talking about Suboxone. So anyways, so I'm planning on this video being my last Suboxone taper update video. Now, as you guys know and have seen me in the past, anything could fucking happen. I could go back up to, I could relapse tomorrow, I could fucking die tomorrow, I could go back up to 16 milligrams of Suboxone tomorrow. I don't want to curse myself, but as of right now, I am planning on this being my last Suboxone taper update video, and I know I have plenty of them out there, so it's been a crazy adventure trying to get off this stuff. So I have a chart that I had printed off. This was from an article Joe had sent me a while back, so shout out to Joe Dog for sending me this. It was actually a really good, if I can remember where it was a really good information about Suboxone. So here's this chart, okay, and I know Reed was talking recently about being on lower doses of Suboxone, the half-life is lower, and I 100% agree with that, and I can relate to that, because as I lowered my dose every time, it stays effective in your body for that much less time. Okay, so when you're tapering your dose and your body's used to a certain, say you're used to 4 milligrams and you go down to 3 milligrams, it's not going to last as long as 4 milligrams did. Or if you jump off at 4 milligrams versus say 1 or 2 milligrams, your withdrawal is going to kick in much faster if you're at a lower dose. So the lower dose you're at, the faster your withdrawals will kick in, and that's just science here. So, okay, so this chart right here. So those that don't know much about opiates or receptors, occupied opiate receptors. Okay, so pretty much the quickest way I could say that is to where this is the percentage amount. Okay, and so pretty much at the maximum dose of Suboxone, you'd be taking, what is this? I can't even read this. 35, 32. That's Joe Dog numbers right there. Actually, I think he was above this before he got off Suboxone. So if you take 32 milligrams of Suboxone, which is a freaking monstrous dose, 5% right there of your opiate receptors are satisfied, meaning that they're not going to be craving for opiates, traditional opiates like painkillers, heroin, whatever. So I remember when I first got on Suboxone, going from like 150 milligram per day habit of painkillers, I remember thinking, I feel about 80% good, you know what I mean? Like, instead of, it's hard to put this stuff into words, and so my apologies. I'm trying to explain this stuff the best I can, but when I first got on Suboxone, I remember thinking I felt about 80% as good as I did as taking full opiates, okay? And that's because 80% of my receptors were full. So it makes sense to me. If you take full painkillers in high doses, 100% of your receptors are going to be full. And yeah, sorry, it's so hard to explain this stuff, especially since I'm not a doctor and none of this is medical advice, suckers. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so this is what they talk about, the ceiling effect right here. You guys can see much past 8 milligrams, you're not getting much bang for your buck at all. To go from 8 milligrams where you have 80% of your opiate receptors occupied, telling your brain and your body that you're okay and you're not freaking out, to go to 32 milligrams, you're only getting another, 4%? So you're getting all these extra side effects from these heavy duty, and I want to make this clear, Suboxone is a heavy duty medication, and anybody that says that it's not doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, okay? Because the fact that I couldn't jump off at 3 milligrams, which is right here, I failed. I couldn't jump off at 1 milligrams, and then last year, or whenever it was, I jumped off at 1/4 milligram. It was very challenging to do. So to jump off of a medication at 1/4 milligram, when 16 is the normal average prescribed dose, that lets you know that this medication is no fucking joke. So anyways, to me, what I see is anything below 8 milligrams is kind of your best bang for your buck without monstrous side effects, because you start getting up here in this range, you should be having pretty bad sexual side effects, especially if you're a guy. Chances are you won't be able to finish, or you'll have issues. You'll just have issues you don't want. Okay, let's just say that for any children that might be listening. I don't want to say too much. So I can't tell you what a girl feels like because I'm not a girl. But above this dose, you're definitely going to be having major issues with constipation. Chances are you are not going to crap for a freaking week at a time, and just imagine how backed up you're going to be if you're up here in these high doses. I honestly was pretty backed up until about 2 milligrams this last time. I was tapered down to 0.25 milligrams this spring, and with the COVID stuff and depression and shutting the gym back down, I crept back up to 4 milligrams, guys, as you guys seen in my past videos, okay? At this dose, coming from this dose, I was monitoring oh gosh, this is way TMI, but I was unable to, let's just say, take care of myself at this dose at 4 milligrams, okay, in a sexual way, okay? So that's how strong Suboxone is where I couldn't even take care of my own business at 4 milligrams, and this is way TMI, so whatever, that's just what this channel is about. Okay, so I noticed as I was tapering down right about 2.5 to 2 milligram mark, the sexual side effects were much less, okay? And then below that, as you can imagine, things get better. So ironically, this is kind of about, without giving taper advice, this is probably about how you'd want to taper, you know, at this dose, because you can taper down fast from these higher doses, guys. The medication is so strong, it's all in your head. For me, it was all in my head until I got to about, I would say right around 1.5 to 2 milligrams. After you start getting below 1.5, 2 milligrams, that's when you start noticing more of the physical side effects. Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna let you guys stare at this chart the whole time. Hurry, look at this chart all day, guys. Okay, so once I got below 1 milligram, I started getting the restless legs in the middle of the night. It was waking me up really early in the morning, and you couldn't fall back asleep. Your guts are churning all day. You're having multiple trips to the bathroom, especially when I got to 0.75 and below. That was the guts churning all night and having to use the bathroom like 5 times a day. That's the worst part of it for me, guys. And the insomnia too. Your insomnia gets really bad at the lower doses. So just a heads up, suckers. Just kidding, I wouldn't call you guys suckers. Anyways, where are we at? This video is going to be so freaking long, but I know a lot of you are looking for my update, so I'm sure you'll follow along anyways. All right, guys, so this is where we're at. You ready for this? Last stop, Suboxone. We are at 0.125, and at that dose, you can't even see how it's affecting my brain. What is it? Maybe 2% of my opiate receptors are even being touched by this medication. I mean, it's a very low dose. And as you can see how this chart flattens out right here, that is about exactly how slow I've came down. Okay, once I got below 1 milligram, you got to slow the taper down, guys. As you can see, I have a lot of taper experience. Not to brag, that's definitely not something you want to brag about. Oh, I'm a Suboxone taper freaking master. It's a stupid thing to have to talk about, I guess, but I'm talking about this to try to give you guys as many tools as I can to help you fight this addiction, because this isn't no easy thing for anybody just to jump right out of Suboxone. Okay, I remember seeing recently Derek's brother on Derek's channel, Kurt. He was saying that he couldn't taper off Suboxone, but he just jumped off of fentanyl, I believe. I could be wrong, maybe it was heroin, but I think he said fentanyl, which is like a freaking elephant tranquilizer. That's the strongest. I don't think there's even a stronger drug on earth than fentanyl. Can you guys think of something stronger than that? So Kurt, I think he just jumped right off of fentanyl and just went through hell for however long it was, okay? But he couldn't taper off Suboxone. So it's different for everybody, guys. That just goes to show. Some people, and I think Derek did the same thing. I want to say Derek jumped off of like 500 milligrams of heroin. I've never tried heroin, or definitely never tried fentanyl. I went up to about 150 milligrams a day of painkillers over time. Okay, so that's really as far as my experience goes. So I cannot speak anything on how much harder it is to get off of heroin, and obviously it's all different for everybody, guys. So not one thing is gonna work. Do your homework, watch plenty of other people's channels, take whatever tips they can all give you, and try and see what works for you, because it's gonna be different for everybody. Your genetics, how fast your metabolism is, I've talked about this 100 times on this channel, has a lot to do with how fast you can taper. You know, I've been trying to get off Suboxone now. Thinking back, it's been 2+ years, maybe 3 years, since back when Roberta first started her channel. I want to say that was maybe 3 years ago. I remember thinking how she was talking about taking her time tapering off, and I thought, why would you want to take so much time to do that? But after all these years of fluctuating doses and going back on and using it for depression, you know, I think I really have to give a shout out to Nicole from Real Talk Recovery, because I think that the way that she has done her long, slow taper, although it might seem long to a lot of people, and what, maybe it's like a year or so. I don't remember exact dates of when she started tapering, but I want to say it's somewhere around a year. Okay, if you can take a good solid year, guys, if you're on a higher dose of Suboxone, if you can do it, you know, you could be in Joe's situation where your kids are being withheld from you, which I still think is a crock of shit, because you're taking this medication from a fucking doctor, dude. Nobody should hold your kids from you for you taking a medication for your doctor. And so, anyways, so he was in a bind, so that's why he had to hurry and get off, okay? Because if you're in a better situation to where you don't have that much pressure going on, do it like Nicole is doing it. She took like a solid year, guys, to slowly taper. You are literally rewiring and reworking your